what was your experience like with the New Haven Chorale singer program, and how long were you in the program, and how did that sort of influence your journey as a young singer at the time?
I have to be like 100% honest about how important the New Haven Chorale and the Student Singers Program was to my trajectory. It was the start of my senior year in high school. My music teacher, Mr. Bellucci, Art Bellucci, who's now retired from West Haven Public Schools, and at the time I was at Notre Dame High School, where he was the music teacher. uh, said to me, "Hey, there's this opportunity for this student singers program. You should audition." What I lacked was fundamental musical skills at the time. And so I went to the audition and I sang my solo, and they asked me to sight read, and the sight reading was an utter and abject failure. And the New Haven Chorale took a chance on me, and they gave me an opportunity to be a part of the program. I was completely in over my head. I was completely underwater, and I loved every second of it. Connecting to this concert coming up in a few weeks, the very first time I ever walked into and uttered a note in Woolsey Hall was with the New Haven Chorale. And to hear this huge orchestra and these incredible soloists and this monstrous chorus, it was otherworldly. And so what that set out was that, oh, this classical music thing is actually interesting. I had done some stuff in choir in high school. I had done some stuff in Allstate, but there were always things adjacent to what I understood and what music was for me up until that point. In many ways, I found my voice there, my voice. Oddly enough, classical music connected me to issues of race in ways that particularly unique, having spent time in my doctoral program studying specifically Black composers. This Nathaniel Dett is one of my favorite pieces. I love singing it. I have taught it here in some of my classes at Yale, and to be able to sing it for my hometown crowd is really, really special. I am a nervous wreck.
Well, I know that I'm looking forward to it.
To get back to your question, actually, the
Sure.
student singers program was absolutely instrumental in my growth, in my success, in introducing me to classical music, and to sort of fostering a love for the art form.
Yeah. Thank you. That's great. So with you had mentioned the upcoming collaboration with the Ordering of Moses. Um, how does it feel to sing alongside the chorale again, but this time as a soloist?
Um, it's really special. It's really, 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 really special. I've also one of the other groups that's collaborating on this, the Heritage Chorale. I had done their Messiah a few years ago, some like early in my career.
Hmm.
I came home to sing the tenor solo in their Handel's Messiah, and so to sing again with both groups is really, really special. Having come through the Student Singers program and having come back a couple of times to do things over the years with the chorale. I did just after finishing at UConn, I was a student at Juilliard, and I came back to do another work by a luminary black composer, Adolphus Hailstork, and his work "Done Made My Vow." So that was
Hmm.
my first time soloing with the group. And then even some years after that, there was another concert that I did, oddly enough, with another soloist who at the time was graduating from the Hart School of Music,
Hmm.
Ryan Speedo Green.
Oh yeah.
And Ryan is now like a bona fide operatic superstar. When I started my doctorate at Florida State, he was finishing his master's, and so actually got a chance to do a Barber of Seville together down there some years after meeting through the New Haven Chorale, and then meeting up at Florida State, both as graduate students. So the world is really, really small, and the New Haven Chorale has been a wonderful thread through my career. And so literally 30 years later, to come back and do this is kind of crazy.
What was your favorite part about singing with the chorale while you were there?
I think my favorite part about singing with the chorale was being exposed to a world I didn't know,
Mm.
um, a world I didn't understand, and a world that was obviously deeply musical, but deeply musical in ways that I had not been exposed to on that level.
Yeah.
Um, the the conductor at the time, whose name at the moment escapes me, I can see his face, and I feel terrible that I cannot remember his name. I have to look it up. He was also on faculty at Hunter College in New York City, but he was an exacting musician
Mm.
and just demanded the absolute epitome of sort of musical style and class.
Mm.
And it was that kind of work sort of excited me because perfecting musicianship. I was like, it had never worked in that way, and I found it exciting. Some people didn't love it, but I adored it. I thought it was amazing. I
Yeah.
learned a ton.
Yeah.
Um, that was probably, I think that the exposure was my favorite part. I would say that, it worked for me. It doesn't always work for students who don't have a foundation in classical music and have a background, and that sort of immersion can be really, really off-putting and terrifying. And it's not that I wasn't terrified, but there's something about music that in somewhere in my personhood, there's something in me that just says, okay, just do it afraid. You terrified
Mm.
or not, do it. It's music. And
Mm.
so that's kind of what guided me.
Would you recommend the chorale to singers, either those looking to join the student singer program or just looking to join the larger choir?
So I will answer that question this way. There is nothing, there is no experience, there is no activity that has the same power as communal singing. Any opportunity to sing in community with other people is an incredible opportunity to learn, to grow, to learn to listen, um, to learn to see beyond yourself, to work with others, in some ways to compromise, in many ways to defer to a leader while still employing the fullness and depth and breadth of your own instrument. And so the New Haven Chorale is one of the organizations here in New Haven that provides that opportunity to the community. And I couldn't recommend it more for the values that it espouses and for the opportunities that it affords the greater New Haven community.